All right, so just take a moment to get comfortable in the seat that you're in. Take a few deep breaths. And just relax into this space as this space. And just notice alertly what it feels like to be here. Notice the quality of this sense of being by which and within which we're able to experience. This vibrant, alive, spacious, undeniable sense of being. This field of aliveness, this aware aliveness that every sensation, every thought, every sound, every texture of experience is appearing within and is an expression of. This field is always here. No matter where we place attention, we're always placing it within the sense of being. Could even say that we're using the sense of being to notice the sense of being. It may not seem like it when we're caught up in ideas about the sense of being, about what's here, about what is. But even those ideas are appearing within the sense of being. as an expression of the sense of being. Now, one of the ideas that we tend to get caught up in that seems to obscure this primary aspect of ourself, this primary aspect of our experience, is this idea of deficiency, this belief that I'm not good enough, that I am a separate fragment of experience, and that my existence is lacking. My existence is a mistake, we might even feel. So let's take a closer look at this belief. Let's take a closer look at if our actual experience demonstrates, the need to believe it. Is it true that what we are, that our actual experience of ourself is that we're not good enough, is that we are deficient, inadequate, separate selves? So typically, this sense of deficiency and separation expresses, it seems, in two different ways. One is in thought, in the story and mental imagining of a self, and the other being the sensations that seem to reinforce this belief in separation, of deficiency, of lack. Let's look at the mental expression first. Often, it's important to untangle the beliefs and assumptions and attachment to mental ideas before we can really look closer at felt experience. So start with just noticing thought. Notice that thoughts, memories, images, this cognitive fabric, this sense of someoneness is something arising within experience. It's something that you are aware of. Now, does it make sense that something that you're aware of is what you are, essentially? Is this thought, this pattern of self, is this sense of self aware of the sense of self? Given that it's appearing within awareness. If you are aware of this sense, does it make sense that the sense would be aware? No. Just like I wouldn't take this voice as being aware because it is appearing within awareness. It doesn't make sense for me to consider this sense of self to be what's noticing the sense of self. And so, even if we have a habit of taking ourselves to be this sense, doesn't mean that that's our actual experience, right? So now turn attention towards what's aware of this sense of self, or what's aware of sensation, of sound. Turn attention toward that which is experiencing experience. Because if we really look at it, that is what it really feels like we are, right? We're the one that's aware. We're the one that's experiencing. We're the one that's conscious. That's what it really feels like when we look closely. So turn attention to the source of attention. What do you find? What don't you find? When I turn attention towards attention, attention doesn't rest on anything. There's just this capacity, this openness, this awareness. It's not something like an appearance, such as the sense of the historic self or sensation or sound. But it's also not nothing. There is an isness to what attention rests on when it turns to its root. There is a subtle palpableness there. So the point is that our experience of ourself as that which is aware, that which is conscious, is more in line with these qualities of being aware or being present. You would say that you're alive, right? You would say that you're aware. What else could we say without referencing thought? Or we're here, that there is existence. So it's these more fundamental qualities that, if we wanted to describe what we are, then we could within reason. Whatever it is that we are, whatever it is that's hearing this voice, that's moving attention, that's exploring, is alive, is aware, is here. It is. Now, to bring this in a more full circle kind of way, let's explore sensation now. So within the sense of being, there is the sense of, maybe we would call it a body, or the senses, sensing. But in the absence of being this story of a self, this story of deficiency that we're aware of, and even the story doesn't always hold that idea of deficiency, and yet it kind of operates from that assumption. So, given that we're not the story, can we find deficiency within the experience of sensation? Exploring as the awareness that you are, as the consciousness that you are, and not as the story. The story can't explore. The story can't do anything other than appear within you. So, as this aliveness, is there deficiency in the felt experience of you? Explore. There are sensations, there's variation in their texture, variation in their intensity, density, temperature. Some of the sensations are more physical in their expression. There is also sound arising. There's also the quality of space and fragrance. There's tasting. But in the experience of this aliveness, that all of these experiences, what we call the senses, are composed of, is there limitation there? Is there a boundary to the sense of being? Is there a boundary to this field of aliveness? that all of these textures are arising within. I can't find a boundary. I can always imagine one, but that would just be a thought. That would be placing attention upon an appearance within the sense of being rather than the sense of being itself. You find a center to the sense of being. And even if thought says yes, remember that thought doesn't move attention. Thought isn't aware. So a thought saying yes or maybe or I'm not sure is just expressing that statement. Nothing more. To bring attention back to the experience. Is there a center to the sense of being, to this field? Now, on a practical level, you could say, well, given that there's no boundary, it doesn't really make sense that there would be a center. But we often mistake this, sense of immediacy, this sense of intensity or denseness as meaning a center, which is understandable, but it's not true. Is it? Does the intensity of a sensation mean that it's a center? No. I mean, what we're doing is exploring what experience is actually demonstrating, right? So an experience of intensity or density is simply demonstrating that quality of what's arising. Everything else that the mind pastes on, like location, separation, distance, conceptual understanding of what's arising, its relationality to a subject, all of that is just a thought. It's okay if, some aspects of what the mind says still are believable. That's all right. We've spent most of our lives believing, that framework, that way of interpreting, felt sense of experience, the felt sense of consciousness, awareness. But if we take the time to explore in this way and see, is the actual experience of myself what I am, this alive awareness, this awakeness, this consciousness, this presence, rather than what I'm not, which is this story that I'm aware of, it's appearing within me. That's an expression of my potential. We explore in this way and from the right view, so to speak. We can uncover some fairly profound yet completely ordinary truths about what's here. In exploring the experience of what you are, regardless of what the mind says, no deficiency can be found. What's deficient about that which has no boundary or center? What's deficient about that which is a capacity for all expressions of experience? What's deficient about you? Nothing. It's because of you that this voice can be heard and that this voice can arise. Check for yourself. In the absence of the sense of being, can anything be known? There's apparent limitation within your expressions, which are always changing and are infinite in number. There's nothing deficient, nothing limited about you, about the awakeness that you are. It only seemed that way when you get caught up in ideas about yourself, when you place more significance and value on ideas rather than your experience. And that's okay. Just know that you can always come back to where you've never left. You can always remember what doesn't change, what isn't limited, what is always free. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to gain anything to remember. Just turn attention towards tension. Explore experience, the experience of experience. Abandon the lens of deficiency. You don't need it. You are already complete. You are already whole. You are, and because you are, everything can be. You are beyond any concept, beyond definition. And yet you are always here, always available for yourself. Thank you for listening.